computer. Boom. All right. Hey, we locked in with a new first podcast interview for the year. Alpha G, Meeting of the Minds. I got my man Schmid on the line.
What's up? What's going on?
Going on, man. I just met Schmid a couple of days ago here in Clubhouse, and we were talking about speaking podcasts, getting things going. I feel like, hey, what a better time to connect and take the conversation here to what I call a meeting of the minds. I really don't like to have it like a podcast because I usually just use this to have conversations. You know,
Awesome.
I think that with black men, they don't see enough positive conversations between black men that are actually moving towards something. So I like, hey, you know, instead of us jumping on a phone call and I have this wonderful conversation, it's like, man, I met this guy Smith. It was good. We talked about this, and that. No one doesn't believe me. It's like, yeah, man, you probably making it up. So that's why I just try to have these conversations to let people know, like, hey, there really is men out here in the world doing good things, connecting, trying to make the world a better place, working on ourselves. And it's not what people always see on social media or the news.
Yes, absolutely. And I appreciate you creating the space for me to be able to talk with you. And I'm super excited about this.
Good. So great. So, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. I just got the little brief interview from Clubhouse. I really don't know too much.
Yes. So a big overview about myself. I'm Haitian, so I came here long ago now. It's about like 27 years in the States.
Okay.
My background is really in exercise physiology. And from there, I'm a veteran as well. And through exercise physiology, I really moved in right now trying to like do more things that relates to improving the whole entire well-being of people. And for the past 8 months, I've been really trying to put a podcast together using most of my experiences as well as knowledge base to really help potentiate people forward. And the name of the podcast I really want to do is called Becoming Sapient. And the whole process is, as a veteran, I was deployed to Katrina, which is kind of like one of the companies that I founded. Went to Katrina, and after Katrina, I came back to Chicago now, literally 6-7 years later.
Right.
In Katrina, we did everything. My unit pulled security. We made sure that many of the homes, people were not living in them. We made sure that we create checkpoints and provide food, build places for people to shower, you know, the whole 9 yards. Now, 7 years later, I'm in Chicago at a barbecue with some friends.
Right.
And my boy had steak marinated in kimchi.
Okay.
And
sounds good.
It's delicious. The piece of the kimchi fell in the fire. Mm-hmm. The burnt kimchi smell took me back to my deployment. I was frozen in time in my deployment in front of one of the ladies' house that we used to bring food to.
Right.
And at that moment, my friend touched my shoulder and said, "Dude, are you okay?" Mm-hmm. At that moment, I realized that I was in Chicago, not in Louisiana. Like my whole mindset, my whole body felt as if I was there.
Right.
And it was like, "Dude, man, you've been standing here for about like 3 minutes, just dazing off."
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And I was like, seriously? I was like, yeah, man, like everybody thinks you were crazy. So on my way home, I started thinking, what about if I was driving and that took place?
Right.
Or doing something that required my attention. And from there, I really wanted to see like how our senses can really help people either not just bring about bad or stressful memories or bring back feedback like I did, but how we can use our senses to empower us, to help us bring about feeling of joy, happiness, and so on. So that was kind of like the main process of how this whole entire process started. And now I'm all in the concept of how to use the senses to help people manage stress, how to use your senses to help you down-regulate and make the right decision before you say something that can destroy a relationship or destroy a friendship and so on and so forth. So right now, that's kind of like the whole base and the whole process of what we talked about in Clubhouse is creating a podcast that really embodies that process of how to use your body as a tool, how to master your mind like we have mastered lightning and wind and so on and so forth, and how to be of service to your soul, how to use intuition in a better way to help you make, to help you actually make proper decision. Because through the research that I've done is that when we were little, we were very intuitive. I remember myself is that I remember I used to know when something's not going right with my mother, but when I would say, "Hey mom, are you okay?" because I knew something was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
She used to say things like, no, baby, everything's fine. So over time, I start now thinking that I was not guessing the right way. Right. So now I'm
Okay.
realizing I have to now re-educate myself and develop this trust in my intuition. And that's this whole entire thing about what I really want to try to push forward. So this alpha concept was like, wow, you know what? Let's connect and do big things.
Man, that's a lot right there to unpack. But I'm glad we jumped on this podcast so we can start dissecting and pulling back the onion. So, what was your field again? Because you said it was your field that you're studying in.
Uh,
Your
my field
field,
of exercise physiology, and yeah,
exercise physiology. Can you break that down a little more? So
yeah. So
the
exercise,
ABC terms, so we can have everybody
absolutely,
on the same
absolutely.
time.
Yeah. Exercise physiology looked at how movement itself, either you are exercising or moving around and about, how that creates different type of chemical reaction within your body, right? Why
Wow.
does
Okay.
people tell you that you need to exercise when you are stressed? Like, what about exercise that help you de-stress, right? It's not just punching things, but there's chemical reaction that are happening, right? Or when
Right.
people tell you you need to exercise to improve your diabetes, like what about exercise that actually helping you down regulate or improving those kind of like chronic diseases such as high blood pressure, cholesterol, which is affecting a greater amount of black and brown people, you know?
Right.
So this is kind of like what the whole umbrella of exercise physiology is all about.
Okay. So now, so were you already studying that before you had that the episode where you were at your friend's house, or that episode happened and then that made you look further deeply in more into this?
Yes. So in an undergrad, my degree was in French literature and exercise science. So
Okay.
after this happened,
Okay.
I went and got my master's in exercise physiology.
Oh, that's your master's.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So it's
Oh,
been very interesting, and I started realizing how much the mind work, like neuroscience, and
right.
how that works, and the power of our senses. A lot of people don't realize how powerful their senses are, you know, from
Mm-hmm.
like looking at something. Or if I tell you right now, ask you this question, like, what is your favorite comedy skit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is, and if you listen to it, you will crack up, and by just laughing, it brings out a little bit of joy. You forget about the things that are happening, and that right there improve your
Right.
system for that time being, you
Okay.
know. Even like when I tell people, when I talk, is like, think about when you smell the cologne or a perfume of your ex-girlfriend or something, or your ex-boyfriend, right? When
Yeah.
you smell, it's like, oh man, I remember this girl right there. Oh, right.
Okay.
And that memory, if it's good, then you start thinking about great things. You feel happy. It was a great relationship. I wonder what's going on with her. If it was something that was
Right.
bad, you start associating all these different type of words with this person. They're like, this, you know, so this, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And that is just a smell that can do that kind of level of work, not just psychologically, but from through your system as well.
Wow, that's dope. I like that. So, with the research that you have done, so what are things that you think that can probably help, us out right now as just men, saying when we're down, going through depression and, don't feel like, we're going in a downward spiral. Like, what are things that that you have seen that can probably just bring us back out?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's very, very crucial. One simple thing is breathing, and you will hear that all across the board, right?
Oh,
Uh,
firm believer of that. Yes.
Absolutely, yeah, breathing. So it's one thing, because what's happening is that you're reducing all the noise and you're focusing on one thing, right? This is the name of my company, right? R.E.S.S.E.T, reduce environmental stimuli for self-evaluation. So this
Okay.
ability of just breathe, you now start becoming aware of your breath. Most people, we know that we are breathing throughout the day,
Right.
but not very often that we actually start paying attention to the breath going in and the breath coming out. And now you can go to the series of studying on different type of breathing, pranic breathing, and all these different type of yoga or kundalini type of breathing,
Okay.
deep belly breathing. All of them are different type of breathing, but just,
Wow.
yes, there's a
It's deep.
plethora of
It's
things,
deep.
right? Like
Yeah.
even now in the Navy SEAL, there's different type of breathing to help you down regulate and focus, right?
Okay.
That you learn along the way. In the military, there's different type of breathing you can do when you undergo some kind of like stress to calm yourself down. So your breath is very important. So that's one quick thing people can do, right? Just
Okay.
focus on one thing, just one, not let your mind wander, narrow in. That's one thing. A thing would be like, start contracting your muscles, right? People don't do that, right? You feel like a little bit of tension when you're angry and things like that. Most of us are not aware of our toes. Right now, if I tell you to start paying attention to your toes, start squeezing them, putting them together, cross them, your mind move away from the worries and you start focusing in one senses.
Man, yes.
Right? And that right there create a little bit of break between whatever stressor that you are undergoing and give you a little space to start making proper decisions. And that's the power of our senses right there. You know?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know, one thing I told myself is like to stop the movie, keep calm and just breathe, because I understand that there's a slight, you know, you can't just do something like, oh, I slapped you because I don't know what happened. Like, no, there's a small break that you can go
Yes.
ahead and just hold on. You can feel it. I can feel the rage. You can feel what's going on. You can feel your hands. But said when you have that small break, like you just described, like breathe.
Yes. And a lot of us
Why am I mad? Why am I upset? Why do I want to hit him? And it's that small break, I'm telling you, because it just changed like people's life. I think I look at it as a test. All these things are really tests. And how you move forward, it determines how you pass the test. Just pass or fail. Now, if
That's
you're not in
correct.
control of your emotions, and I do something without thinking, you failed the test, obviously. But
Absolutely.
with the things that
Absolutely.
you're saying here can have you pass the test by taking your mind and stopping the movie from going on in your head
Yes.
and come back to reality and like what is really going on.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Yes, I
And
like that.
a lot of us fail to realize our past programming, right?
Yes.
Like either where we were raised, right? The
Yeah.
kind of school that we went through, right? The
Okay.
level of stress that we went. Like for instance, as a foreigner, when I first came to the States, you know, I only wear slacks and dress shoes, right?
Okay.
In high school, true story. In high school, I tried out for the football team, and I
Mm-hmm.
ran the tryout in dress shoes. Right, I know, right? Right.
Okay.
I know because as a foreigner, it's different. It's a different mindset. If you go to school, you go with dress shoes on, not tennis
Right.
shoes. You know. So
Yes.
when I try out, I mean, I didn't have gym shoes, so I just ran in my dress shoes and I made the team. But later on, I realized, you know what, you need to wear gym shoes and so on and so forth.
Right.
But that level of programming, when I was in high school, people used to make fun of what I'm wearing,
Right. I
right?
understand.
So now it's become less of a trigger. But now if I walk into a room and people kind of like look at me a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
it quickly triggered that anxiety that I felt in high school, right? Because it's a
Right.
program that is
Right.
now in my system. So this is where now a breathing technique, a quickly spacing myself out, as you were saying, you hear that count to 10, right? Before you start acting. And it's just, I start thinking, it's like, you know what, let me breathe. They're probably not even worrying about me. You know what I mean? Maybe they like my what I'm wearing. And
That is true.
shift the mindset. And
Yes.
exactly. And a lot of time we don't. Someone does something to us, we react just like you said. But now the key is that how can you create that little space? And our senses can help us
Yes.
do that, right? Just like listening to your favorite song gets you all amped up before you work out, or listen to, like, you know, when back in the days when I used to listen to Keith Sweat or Public Announcement, you're like, yeah, you listen to this thing, you think about, you know, who you're about to write a letter to, or girl that you're
Right.
going to talk to. It puts you in a mood, right? We
Yes.
can use music the same way to help us calm down after a rough day where, you know, you got into it with your boss. You didn't get the raise that you need. You are pissed off walking into the house and your spouse or your kids or whatever is not interacting with you. You can just, you know what, give me a moment. Let me go listen to my favorite song, calm me down a little bit. Then you interact with your family instead of go at it. They ask you a question and you just vomit your anger, vomit your
Right.
frustration. As men, it will definitely help us build greater relationships with people around us.
I definitely agree, man. Everything that you're saying is right along the path of me working towards, you know, de-escalating things. You know, a lot of times when I'm in my company, not my company, but for the company I work for, you know, I was a supervisor. So a lot of times, you know, they call and they're ha ha ha, and so just put them on mute,
Ex-
just breathe, and just understand, like, hey, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna ask questions, ask good questions, good questions, get good answers. And then one thing I took from the book 7 Habits of Highly Successful People is seek to understand and be understood. So
Yes.
in that frame, that when people are looking at me, I have it too. It's just like, well, I really don't know what's really going on. So let me ask the question, and then I can make my judgment from the answer.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just going off of just pure emotion. So it's like,
Yes.
hey, when you said that, what you said, did you mean it like this? Oh, no, it didn't come off like that. Oh, okay, because to me, it came off like this. And that's a lot of times working with men, it's the movies going like, oh, he's trying to play me. Oh, the ego is
Yes.
going. But we never said, hey, man, when you put that post up there, did you mean to come off like this? Oh, no, it wasn't my intention. Oh, okay, this is how I took it. And then I think a lot of times you can smooth things over, But
and
thank you.
and of course, and that's what is going on right now with our whole entire social media culture, right?
Yes.
Because you're not there to listen to the vibration of the words or the pause that person has when they are writing the comment or the post, right?
Right.
Then you're reading it with your own lens, right? Your own lens
Yes.
of trauma, your own lens of whatever past history that you have. And
Right.
then you put in your salt, pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper, you seasoning it, you know what I mean, the way that you
Yeah.
want. And you
Right.
serving it. Where this person is probably just put a little bit of salt. That's it. And now you just added garlic and all that great stuff in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So exactly what you're saying is that a lot of time we don't communicate. And being able to
Most
have
definitely.
a great conversation or asking question is also a great way of pausing.
Yeah. I
So
definitely agree. So what questions or what things do you think we should do other than breathing to try to de-escalate a situation? So for your example, something so in that scenario where you were at a ball or something, everyone starts staring at you and it brings back that memory. What are some things that you do to de-escalate and come down to the ground?
absolutely, that's a very good question. So one thing that we use in Reset is
Okay.
this concept of a dashboard, right?
All right.
So most people currently they have a car that the dashboard will let them know what is going on with the car,
Okay.
right? So if you have a flat tire, the light will come on and say flat tire. If you need gas, it will tell you that, you know what, you are almost empty. Or if you need oil change, the light would come up and say oil change or check engine light or whatever, right?
Right.
This is a very good analogy for what is going on in our body with feelings and emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing that we have adapted at Reset is that your body is like a dashboard, and the feelings and emotions are the lights that are popping up and telling you that there's a want, a need, a desire that needs to be fulfilled, right?
Okay.
So if I'm angry or I walk into this room and then somebody's looking at me, I feel anxious or I feel ashamed, right?
Right.
There's something that is causing that. Once I feel this sensation, then my job is to what we call move past it, go to the opposite end, right?
Okay.
Then out of shame, that would require courage, right? You can move on the opposite end. So I would have developed some kind of courage or some kind of like self-awareness to exactly your example, approach the person and talk to them, or change my mindset. I'm like, you know what? Maybe because I'm fly. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You know,
That's it.
I just bought this new belt. You know, I got my jacket on. I just spent, whatever on. You know what? They're just loving my jacket. And that shift takes you away from this negative. I'm quoting this because feelings and emotions, this negative mindset to
Right.
an opposite mindset. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, one of the feeling and emotion that we talk about in Reset is this concept of boredom, right?
Okay.
And we noticed how much people can try to do to remove boredom, right? It's a feeling and sensation that tells you that you lack excitement. You need something to stimulate you. And
Right.
usually people either now would go online, shop, right? Spend money because they are bored, right?
Right. Yeah.
People will start drinking alcohol. Like in the beginning of COVID, I was drinking, it's like you're bored, right? You
Right.
want to do something that move you away out of boredom. right?
Right.
People do things like they go out, they cheat or do whatever because out of boredom, instead of like tackling this sensation, this lack of excitement. Maybe if you talk about your lack of excitement to your spouse, your friend, or whatever it may be, you may change the whole entire situation.
Right.
So this dashboard process allows us to quickly identify, you know what? I'm feeling this sensation. What kind of emotion is this? Is it anger, sadness, boredom, fear? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if it is one of those, what can I do to move past it? Like, do I need to talk to this person? Do I need to just change my mindset? Like, what affirmation can I tell myself? You know what I mean? Because you hear about all these words of affirmations that are now part of all culture, right? You keep saying affirmation and think you may create affirmation to help you out of situations. You know what I mean? It's like, when this happened, I feel this emotion, light bulb comes up into your dashboard.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to say in myself, you know what? I'm a cool ass dude. You know what I mean? I got this. Like, this is my life. You know, I'm worthy. I am worth it. You can create all the type of things that you want to really help you push this thing forward.
Nice. Okay. Still saying that same scenario, right? Your dashboard lights up. Boom. I'm feeling that. You know, man, it's staring at me too much. I like that. It's taking me back to where I was before.
Yeah.
Do you go into the process right there, or should you move to a place where you can come to your center and start the I am?
Very good question. Very good. That's fantastic, right? This is the point of reducing environmental stimuli, right? The best thing to do is that you start your breathing process, right? So therefore, the moment that you start to breathe, that person's view is no longer in your sight, because you are focusing on your breath. They give you that little space. That's if you don't have a place to walk away from and recompose, right? Let's say I'm at
the Met Gala, right? You're at the Met Gala.
You know what I'm saying? I cannot run away. My suit is clean.
Right.
Everybody's up there. I'm looking good. I just have to compose myself, right?
Okay.
So I have to, like, I can stick my hand in my pocket, cross my fingers really tight. Therefore, I'm focusing on my finger. It takes this person out of my view. And in that moment, now I breathe and recite my mantra. I breathe. I change my mindset. I breathe. I move away from this concept of feeling ashamed, guilt to something else. And that's that little quick break. And that change really can play a big role, right? Because our thought process and our way of being is shaped by this dualistic world of good or bad, right?
Okay.
So if my thought process is based on that, then it's because I have the thought process that what I'm wearing may not be fly enough, or people used to make fun of me, then this gives me this kind of anxiety or sensation on my body, right? But if I can change that to a more opposite side of the spectrum, something that is more positive, during that little break period, I have time, right? You got to cut through that continuum. Anxiety, people get anxious, cut through it, right? With something, an action or something, right? Could be just me sticking my hand in my pocket and take a deep breath and feel cool or look cool, or now start processing, right? Down regulating, using one practical application after another. Could be saying my word. That didn't work. Watch my breathing and then push it to the next level, or do something courageous, right? It could be just walking up to the person and just say something, or find a friend. It could be anything. You got to cut through this spectrum that's causing it.
I like that. And I was actually talking to my friend yesterday about this because I felt himself going through an episode of what I like to call it, and allowing the movie to play. And one thing that I adapted in my life is I do the breathe, and then just close my eyes and then say, "Hey, is this stop? Is it benefiting me? Is it helping me grow? And is it useful? If it's no,
that's it.
Let it go. There's no need. I just told myself it's not useful. So there's no reason to keep dwelling upon it. Oh, maybe is it benefiting me? Is it making me grow? Is it useful? No. That's it.
And that's the beauty about it. And a lot of time when a person is undergoing stress, it's not easy for them to go through those step process. And you are practicing this on a regular basis. You are elevating yourself as a man, right?
Yeah.
So it's it becomes a bit easier for you than when the light on your dashboard lights up. It's like, that's not the feeling that I usually have, right?
Yes.
What is
Yes.
this sensation? And you question that, and that is a big deal. A lot of people are not even aware
Right.
of those sensations. You know what I mean? So they swift or move from one emotion to the next without even realizing it. They go from anger to upset to whatever it may be, fear, and because of that, it's a problem. And what you are explaining from, is it serving me, right? Is this thing gonna potentiate me? Those are thought process that people that actually create the space are aware can do. But
Yes.
those that are not aware, that's where we talk about reset. Like just breathing, squeeze your fingers, right? Blink your eyes, think of a cool song, right? Try to smell something in the air that you were not aware of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because if you're at the Met Gala, you know there's so many people wearing different type of cologne, perfume, or whatever it may be, right? Or
Yeah.
new fabric or whatever. It's like, smell like, is it chicken or is it curry chicken? Like, just give yourself this ability to cut out the noise and focus on something to give you a little space. And then go to the process that you just mentioned or recite your mantra or whatever it may be.
Yeah, man. You know, I think I got this from, what book was I reading? I think it was The Power of Now, by
Oh,
Edgar
that's a
Tolle.
great book. A
Yeah,
great book. Great
so
book.
I think that's where I got this from. It's just like you said, when that thing happens, watch the thinker. It's just like pay attention to, going up the stairs. Feel yourself, your foot stepping on the stairs. Pay attention to your breathing, recognizing your breathing, being aware of what's going on. And so,
Absolutely.
man, it kind of just ties it all back, man. But man,
Absolutely.
I
And,
liking it so far.
and what we have used at Reset is the concept of piggyback on Eckhart Tolle and what you just mentioned is the concept of the triune brain. The
Okay.
triune brain theory is a theory that states that we have three brains, right? We have a prefrontal cortex, we have the limbic system, and you have the reptilian brain. The
Okay.
reptilian brain just regulate things such as breathing, circulation. You're not aware of it mainly. It's the brain that when you are dealing with an anxiety, you go into a fight or flight system where you go to
Yes.
exactly where you go to a parasympathetic or sympathetic system.
Right.
That brain is there, right? The other brain that is above that is the limbic system. This is more like the emotional brain. What we talk about at Reset is it's the present moment brain. What I mean by present moment brain is that if something is in front of you, then you see it or you experience it with one of your senses,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Many of the mammals have that level of brain that is really evolved. We can use, best example would be a dog, right? If you're walking a dog or you see someone walking a dog, if they see another dog, they start barking, they start moving towards the dog. The
Right.
moment that you remove the dog, they back to normal.
That's
It's like
true.
that dog was never there, right? We have that level. It's like we see something, it brings some kind of a memory in. Or I smell that burnt kimchi, boom, it evokes something in my mind, right? Or I
Right.
smell the cologne of an ex-girlfriend. It's like, boom, it's like, oh my God, I remember what she did to me, whatever it may be, right?
Right.
So those sceneries could be there, right? And then you have the neocortex, right? The prefrontal cortex. This one is a more sophisticated part of the brain. This brain can create or calculate very complex ideas and so on. This is the brain that can then project things in the future, such as you, I, we are going to talk, and I started worrying about. It's like 1 p.m. We are talking around like what 8 o'clock.
Right.
1 p.m. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have this talk. Oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? How is it gonna be? And this worry, it's the prefrontal cortex that's shot forward in the future and bring this anxiety in the front of my brain. Or I go back into the past, like something that happened 10 years ago, or about the anxiety of my clothes, because I'm like, you know what? Oh, back in the high school, people used to make fun of me. So because of that, it brought something in the past. So this prefrontal cortex plays a lot of games, but it's also the one that can help you quickly regulate, right? It can help you identify something real quick, right? You can focus on just one of your senses. You can focus on the present moment. I press on the limbic system that way, and the
Okay.
limbic system sends information to your reptilian brain to tell your body to calm down.
Mm.
So they work in relationship with each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So one of them can press on the other and so on and so forth, or they can just affect each other. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you now become conscious of like our conversation right now, right? We are paying attention to each other. We are listening at different level.
Right.
Yes, we are now using or our brain or prefrontal cortex to pay attention. If not, I can just like worry about the light, right? While we are talking about, is people gonna listen to my accent? This is just like me then not focusing and wondering other places. And the key sometimes is, as Eckhart Tolle would say, the present moment.
Yes, that's okay. Now we get back to the present
Right?
moment. Yes, he talked
It's
about the two places that people feel secure in is the future and the past.
yes,
But instead of taking the time and understanding the present moment, what
that's
is actually happening right in front of them.
that's correct. And the
Yes.
only place to change the future or the past is
Okay.
in the present moment, because in the present moment, both the past and the future are one.
Okay.
Because it's a moment of potentiation, right? It's a moment where I can change my life.
Right.
You,
In the present
you know,
moment.
yes, you cannot change your life in the future. You cannot change your
Exactly.
life in the past, right?
Yes.
But in the present moment, right here, right now, this is where the word mindfulness comes from, right? It's like
Okay.
right now, I can be mindful of our conversation. I can be mindful of my being. I can be mindful of the words that I'm saying. I can be mindful of how my words going to impact the people listening, or how my words gonna derail someone that's listening, right? And I
Yeah.
can be mindful of that. Or I can just be a brute and just let word just fly out because I'm not being aware and mindful.
Mindful. I like that, man. What I call it consciously conscious, fully
That's
aware of what it seems to be going on. Because I can control anything. I'm in control. I'm in control. If I want to talk loud, I can talk loud. If I want to talk low, I can talk low. If I want to be an a-hole, I want to be a-hole. But said, what do I benefit from that? I benefit nothing. So why don't I just be consciously conscious and aware of what is going on and say, hey, I want to jump in here. I want to know this person. I want to ask
absolutely.
some good questions because I want to actually know this person. And for me, being consciously conscious and aware of what's going on, I know that I can control my interaction with whoever.
Absolutely.
And they're not
And
in control.
yes. And a lot of people forget about that. A
Right.
lot of
Yes.
people
Yes.
allow they allow other people to control their feelings and emotions.
Yes,
What
I
like
do.
me and my wife says, like, you don't pay my, like, they don't pay my bills. Like, if the person, if they're not paying your bill, why would you let them affect you so deeply?
Yeah.
Where you are in a level of, because now we need to understand how much stress can impact our health,
Okay.
right? Because when you are stressed, you release a series of hormones like cortisol, which is the stress hormone, right? When that is released, it creates different type of problem. It can lead to effect in diabetes. It can actually help you decrease appetite and so on. It can affect your brain, the way your brain function. It can increase your blood pressure and create problem and cause high blood pressure along the way. It So why would I let someone impact my health? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this old saying, I think it was like a story from a monk where these two monks were working together, or Buddhist guys were working together along a river, and there was this young lady that there was mud, and he wanted to help the young lady, so he gave the young lady a piggyback to walk the young lady through the process,
Right.
so her dress is not dirty. After they puts her down and continue to walk, 2 hours later, the other monk basically told him, he's like, I just don't understand, why did you had to pick her up? And he was like, but I dropped her off a long time ago, so why else you still worrying about me carrying her?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
sometimes we just start lifting burdens and chaos or trauma that are not even important, or it's someone else's
True.
problem. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And as you are saying, is like, it's not benefiting me. It's not adding to my life. In fact, it's reducing my life, adding wrinkles in my face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I definitely do
So
agree.
yeah, so why entertaining it? So this is why these podcasts like you are doing is so powerful, because people have the opportunity to talk and understand how important or imperative it is for them to own their physical body, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, understanding that, you know what, I'm having sensations. What are they? Why am I having this feeling? Right? People don't realize that sometimes I can walk into a room, like our conversation is very flowy. We can talk, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you walk into a room, you just don't feel it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no point of forcing it sometimes. You know, it's just your body's telling you one thing. Maybe it's you walk out or stay quiet or whatever you need to do to go through this season, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right. I like what you said before, just cutting through it. You know, that's
Yep.
my process. It's just like, hey, if there's some bad energy, I feel like I'm in control. I can cut through the energy by saying, hey, what's your favorite color? You know, if we get so random, blue. What's your favorite color? Green. Let me say something like, you know, my favorite color is yellow. Ask me why.
Yep.
Why? And then everyone can just turn around. Everyone's gonna, because I cut through whatever was in front of me to say, you know, I'm gonna control the room. I'm gonna
Perfect.
ask the question and make them react to me instead of me react to them by them
Yes.
not paying attention to me, or because he turned around and looked at me corner of his eye and turned back this way. Instead of him allowing that to control me, I'm going to control him and make him talk to me.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
many of us don't do that.
Yes, we don't.
We are like a leaf in the wind. You know what I mean? We just move back and forth instead of
Right.
realizing that we have control of our present moment. We can't control the
Yes.
past. We
Can.
surely cannot control the future, but we can only make an impact on either one right here, right now.
That's true. So how does this work with your company? So say, hey, you know, you reached out to me. I'm understanding like, hey, something is not going wrong. Is there some type of assessment that you guys do first to let you know, to let the person know that what you guys offer is a good
Good.
program for them?
Yeah. So we do there's a couple layers to our company, right? So
Okay.
the first layer is we sell a series of reset cards, right? Actually, I always have some on my desk, so that's why I have these
Perfect.
cards, right? And those cards are just available. You can just put it on your desk. Something is going on right now, right? I can just shuffle real quick and pick a card, right? And the card will say something like this.
Experience every sensation, feeling, aspect in your art.
And it tell you the time, how long you do that for, right?
Nice.
So I just like, you know what, experience every sensation and feelings in my, and I just calm down, start my timer, and for 1 minute, I feel every sensation in my arm. Most people are not even aware of what's going on in your arms.
Wow. I did it right now. I was like,
You see what I'm saying? You just
shoulder, my elbow,
exactly
my wrist, my all the way to my
fingers.
phalanges.
Yes,
I'm gonna use
exactly.
my doctor etiquette, phalanges.
That's
But
right.
yeah, but it definitely makes sense though, because it takes my brain. I left the conversation. You know, I was present here. My brain. I left the conversation. I was like, okay, my arm. There's my shoulder, and then there's my bicep,
Yes,
my tricep, my elbow,
absolutely.
and it went. I felt myself push all the energy all
Hmm.
the way to my fingers.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of the card.
Right.
So it's like it's accessible. People can just get it, they purchase it. Again, you just can do it. Like to me, I set up a timer
Okay.
3 times a day, right?
Yeah.
And when my timer goes off, it allows me to just take a break and just quickly do one, right? I can just quickly pick another one and this one, right? So for 60 seconds, I just close my eyes and become aware of my breath. And it's very simple, right? Because right now, because our eyes are open, we are aware of the light in front of us. You know, you interacting with me through Zoom and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But when I close my eyes, I cut away all those stimuli.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I can just breathe. And that downregulates the system. You know what I mean? It takes me away from whatever chaos paperwork that I was doing. That's one aspect of the business. Another aspect is that we do workshop for like HR departments. We do workshop for law firms
Okay.
and teaching lawyers how to be more mindful because you know they have very stressful jobs. So we do a lot of workshop for them as well. And this new part of our business is our app. We're creating an app right now that's called the R.E.S.S.E.T app. And the point of
Nice.
the app is to allow people to be able to properly self-regulate. You know what I mean? Using those same modalities to really potentiate people forward. So you can use the app in the morning. It can help you set reminder, so you don't have to like carry this paperwork around. Right now, the deck of cards is 54, and with the app right now, we are up to 600 different type of modalities.
Okay.
You know what? And you can plug in your favorite music. So if it says listen to your favorite song, you can just plug it in, put your tune on, and listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to like worry about that. So those are the things that we are putting in the app. We really want to push the app to a certain level where the app can know when you are undergoing some kind of stress. And then the app itself just provides you with the modality. So you can just cut through that stress. So it's not lingering all day long.
Woo, man. What?
I'm trying to change the world, my man. You know?
I see. So take me back to, so you have all this and you were stuck about launching the podcast.
I know, man. It's again, as you can see, like I wanted the podcast to be perfect. Again, you see that word again? This perfectionist aspect.
Perfectionist,
yes. And then we talked about that in the clubhouse. Like, perfection is the mother or sister of procrastination. And that has a level of insecurity that ties into it. You know what I mean? So it's like this conversation is flowing very great, you know, but it's like when I'm about to deliver this podcast, I just want to make sure that everything is research backed, everything is sound, that people that listens to it, you know, but listen to you and the other people in the room is like, dude, just throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like connecting with you is like, dude, let's just do one and then see how it goes. And then let me shake the cobweb. It's like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna do a couple and just bring you in. It's like, let's talk about you now. You know what I'm saying? So so it's so I appreciate this. I appreciate the support.
No
I appreciate the accountability, which was a big deal.
Yes.
You know?
And that's this. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was to say, as alpha males, you know, as people that are potentiating male that's trying to do and help our community, the support and the accountability is a very big thing.
It is. That's what I'm working on right now. I started an accountability group. Today was day one, so I did my postings. I have to go back in and also log everything that I did for the day. One of my goals is I had to drink my gallon of water. You know, pretty much at the end of the day. A couple. This is one drink here, and for my drinks, how I go through the gallon. I've been doing this for a while now, and because I got a bad car accident, and the gentleman was just giving me a massage, and he said, "You're so naughty, man. You drink a lot of water." Like, nah, man, drink a couple sips, but do you drink a gallon? Like, I probably don't. And he said, right, because you don't, because nothing really says, hey, man, I need to be drinking water all throughout the day. You know, you think about it, it's like, all right, well, a cup of water. I really didn't drink water. So I set a timer. It goes off every 30 minutes. And every 30 minutes, I chug for 30 seconds. Yes. Now I've got to 30 seconds. So now for these little lines, I can get to a line every 30 seconds.
Awesome.
Every 30 minutes, I jug for 30 seconds. And that's what helps me get through the bottle. So I started at 8. I pretty much has been done. So this is like the last, I was pretty much around this. Around like 4, actually like 3 p.m. But I know I'm gonna get through this with one chug. So I kind of fell back and I was like, okay, I'm
That's
cool.
Awesome. That's awesome.
But going back to what you were saying is just like I just understand with men just the accountability, and sometimes for certain people it might be an obstacle for them, but might not be an obstacle for me. So hearing what you're saying is like, man, I know exactly what you're going through because I was there. Hey, we're going to jump in the phone call and you can just see how easy it is going back. It doesn't feel like a podcast. It doesn't feel like I have to bust out the books. It's just a natural two people just having a conversation. Yes. And it's like, boom, that's done. A podcast done. That's it.
And I thought it was such a bigger deal, honestly. You know, so it's really good to talk with you about this. And the accountability was a very, very powerful thing.
Yeah. And you sounding good, bro. Everything that you're saying and that you talk about with your business, it sounds good. It's coming off good. So I wanted to just let you know from hearing what you're doing, it sounds good. I love what you're going. I want to purchase something. The cards, but the cards might be obsolete, so I might just wait for the app. But I definitely learned something, and that's why I want to have something for all these podcasts or all these meeting of the minds that I'm doing.
Mhm.
Anytime someone dives in and gets something, they're leaving with a golden nugget to be better.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So they can't say, man, I jumped on here and I try to keep it to an hour and I left with nothing. Because I
Gotcha.
know that you're going back to war, and I don't want to send you back to war without the gun, without something to defend yourself.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
you know what? The beautiful thing is that like we will be launching our beta phase of the app in March.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that. We are connected to social
we're connected
media.
now.
I'll let you know, and you can pass it out to your audience, and they can be part of the app. And it'd be great to get feedback, especially you as well. You know, try it out, break it apart, and say, hey, Schmid, you know what? This didn't work. That's the whole beauty of like getting an app out there, getting feedback from the people, and making sure that whatever you're delivering is actually sound and good enough.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna definitely be implement some of these things into my coaching and stuff. Like, hey, right now, what I want you to do is look at this card.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Look at this card.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
let me know how you feeling, what's going on in your body. I want you to feel everything in your arm, from your shoulder all the way to your fingertips. You feel it? You feel it? Thank you. but I think we just need that, because for me and my goal is like, I think we need to rethink and redo the world. I think it's just outdated, and we need to implement new principles, because new things are being found every single day. Like the technology and stuff that took, all these years to put in one book, we're like getting it in like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? In an hour, we can go ahead and get philosophies, learn about the brain, learn about auto mechanics in a day. Where some people could have took years to understand these things. Like, right now I feel even better in this small time frame that we're talking. I feel a lot better myself, that I'm more equipped to go into the world. And if something is triggering me, anything is triggering me, I know now how to de-escalate. What you say, deregulate?
Yeah, down-regulate.
Down-regulate. I know how to down-regulate now.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's all it is. And I thank you again for this platform. And I think the main thing people would think about is that, as you're saying exactly what you're saying, when you're out there, you are at war with everything around you. It's like knowing that everything is also aware of you. Well, they want your attention, right? That's why you are becoming aware of them, right? Because of that, you smell something. It evokes some kind of feeling and emotion, right?
Yes, yes.
So now think always of the dashboard. It's like, if I feel something that's not part of my normal sensation, you need to question that. You question it. It's like, why do I feel anxious? Figure out what was the trigger, what was the stressor. And maybe if you are equipped enough or calm enough, you can address it, right? You can address the stressor and detach whatever relationship that you have from it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's why people sometimes need therapy and so on and so forth. But if you can quickly identify, you know what? Every time I see this guy or this person doing these specific things, I just get angry. Or maybe you need to remove yourself and avoid 7 o'clock at this particular hour. Like you go to the gym and you always see the same guy sweating on the treadmill, and it makes you upset. Maybe you need to come out 30 minutes later. You know what I mean? Or maybe you need to go somewhere else. So that particular environment doesn't affect you. So now you know what is the trigger. You know what I mean? So I think it's really cool to understand that. Like, you feel the sensation, question it. Pay attention to it, because you will not want to drive your car if the gas tank is on empty and it's telling you, blinking. You know, when you have like a couple miles left, it blinks.
Yes.
You're like, I'm gonna make it. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. You're never gonna do that, because if you do, you will not make it home.
True.
You know what? So why would you do that to your body?
Right. Exactly.
Why would you feel that sensation of your system telling you, hey, look, man, pay attention. Something is up. There's something in your environment we need to take care of.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that big of a deal. We all need to do that. If not, then it's going to become a problem over time. And you're going to react to someone, a loved one, or to some person that you really need to keep a relationship with, and destroy it. Because most of the time, we hurt people that we care about because they are the one that we feel comfortable spilling on.
Right. Man, that's deep. So this can work in any. I mean, I know this can work in any situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to paint the scenario for anybody that's like, oh man, that's just for y'all. It doesn't work for me. It's for any situation that you have that you and look at yourself as your car, your vehicle, your dashboard. Anytime you're feeling something that is triggering you, that you don't feel normal, that is the signal that is going off. And right now, you're saying if you are in, if you can't step away and do these things, the first thing you should do is breathe.
Yeah, breathe. The first thing you start breathing,
Okay,
focus all your attention on your
into your
breath.
nose, out through your mouth, or
That's
hold 7
correct.
seconds. So how?
But this okay, so we can get funky with it. So I'm just gonna give one, right? So you can
Yeah.
do you breathe in for 4 seconds,
Okay.
you hold it for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 4 seconds. By
So
doing that,
in,
yes.
hold,
So
out, and then
hold
hold,
again.
hold again.
Yes. Because when you are doing that, you have to think of your breathing,
Right.
right? Some kind of processes will tell you that you need your exhalation, your breathing out needs to be about twice as long as your inhalation. Why?
Okay.
Is because when you breathe out, you down regulate your system, right? Breathing out makes you more relaxed. So you want to be
Right.
relaxed a little bit longer, right? If you want to follow that pattern, then you're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 8, and then hold for 4, right? And then start the process all over again. But to make it more consistent, I will say 4, 4, 4, 4, right? By thinking about 4 is like, it forces you to now start thinking about
Right.
the breathing and cut through the stimuli or stimulus that's affecting you. And in that little moment, you can think, you know what? It's because when I was younger, this used to bother me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm fly now, that's not a problem. Or if it's a supervisor or you about to enter a room where you're doing a presentation,
Right.
right? You breathe in, you breathe out, and you just, you know what? I got this. Whatever I'm going to say is going to improve somebody's life. A mantra, right? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Or you can visualize after you've done, everybody's like clapping. You know what I mean? So now we talk about visualization, which is another aspect of this whole entire project. But the key, as you're saying, anyone can use it.
Right.
Think of yourself as a dashboard, as you just said. Once you feel sensation that is not normal, such as stress, anxiety, sadness, boredom, or whatever it may be, question that, right? And try to do something that use your senses, a touch, a smell, a sound, or whatever it may be. Better breathing if you want to do something quickly. And then transition, say your mantra, shifting you from whatever the negative sensation was to a more positive sensation.
Okay, I think we okay. So I'm trying to get the stimulus pack right now. So you leave here, I'll give you all these triggers. So you should, by the time you go through all these, you should be okay.
You should be okay.
You should
You know
be
what I mean?
okay. And
And
if
if you're
not,
not,
call Schmid. check the reset app.
that's right. Check your reset. You know what I'm saying? And if that's something that's happening a lot more often, this is the time we will say, you know what? You may want to see a therapist. You may want to see a counselor. You may want to see someone that can be more equipped and more personalized. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of time we run away from these things because you're like, I'm not crazy. I don't need a therapist and so on and so forth. There's time that it requires for you to sit down and talk to someone, because at time keep playing, like you said before, the story in your head.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It could be a very, very tricky pattern because it's a story that you have created. You know what I mean? You have your own character and you provide, you say, you know what, this person is a villain. So he's always going to play a villain in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or my father was not in my life, so he is a jerk. So regardless of whatever your father's trying to do right now, you always view him as a villain, or your mother, or whatever it may be, or your
Right.
cousins. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you need to recreate your story, and maybe you need someone that has the skill set, the expertise to help you properly recreate your story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And help you what I call now shadow work. You go back and look at the past trauma and have the right person help you dig them, process them, and see, you know what, maybe this no longer serves me. And let me move on. Just as you said, it doesn't serve me, it doesn't add value to my life. I gotta let it go.
Let it go. My thing is, I think after I ask myself those three questions, if they're all no, if the three no's, there's no point.
That's it.
No, I don't need a fourth question. But what if he just no? Just let
Yes,
it go.
exactly.
Just let it
And
go.
we,
Gotta step away.
yes, and that's a beauty about this process. And I hope people listening can use it, apply it. If they want to go to our website, they can go to the website at
Oh, okay,
reset.
yes.
Oh, yeah. It's resetstudio.com. It's R.E.S.S.E.T two S's, E.T studio.com. So resetstudio.com. And
Okay.
yeah, just support. And we provide blog on a regular basis. You can sign up for an email list to get tips on a
Nice.
regular basis. It's been a wonderful journey. So now that you helped me, take my first step forward, my next thing is like push out my podcast forward. I know.
Boom. All right.
I know.
So now we're wrapping up here. I want you to please send me all information and where people can get in contact with you, Schmid. So
Mm-hmm.
now questions for you. I'm challenging you.
Yeah.
Since you got the cobwebs off, when you're gonna do your first podcast so I
My
can follow
goal
up
is,
with you.
I would say my first thing is like, I would say the 23rd of January. I like that number.
So it's the 23rd of January.
Let me just look at my schedule
Yeah,
right
look at the
now. You
schedule
see?
right now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at it right now. Challenging me. I'm gonna rise up to the challenge. The 23rd is a Saturday.
23rd is a Saturday.
See
Okay, I'm
that?
gonna pull my calendar too. So you're telling me if you're doing your podcast the 23rd, is it okay for me to follow up with you till 24th?
Absolutely. This is what the accountability brothers are about,
I'm
man.
putting it in my phone now.
I'm putting it in my phone right now.
Follow up with Schmid about his podcast.
See, it's on there, right there.
Boom. And it's in the calendar too.
You
So
see,
Schmid,
it's right here, baby. It's right
okay,
here.
I'm following up with you, keeping you
Man, I
accountable
appreciate that.
because I want you to do good. I know, like I said, for me, it's like it's chickens and the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice. You can
Yeah.
either fly with the Eagles high in the sky, or eat for the bottom for the chickens
That's
doing nothing.
I
You have a
got you.
choice now. But thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Smith. If you can send me all your links, so I can definitely put it into the little descriptions on the bottom when I upload to
Absolutely.
YouTube and put it onto the podcast, and I'll definitely shoot you a link.
Absolutely.
You want to drop anything
Sure.
here?
Man, I appreciate this. And if there's anything I can do to support you, let me know. Now we in contact and so on. And if people want to just check out the website, it's at resetstudio.com. They can get our cards. And if they want to be part of the beta test, they can just shoot us an email and let us know where they heard this. And then you know what? We can actually put them as part of the beta testers.
There we go. Hey, Smith, you're going to kill it, bro. Take care,
Thank
man.
you, man. I appreciate it.